What's up, everybody? This is Khan from Beat Mojo, and you're listening to the Beat Mojo Podcast. More people than ever are becoming producers and making a lot of money in the process. And on this show, I sit down with music producers to discuss the ideas, opportunities, and the strategies they're taking advantage of so the rest of us can do the same. Today, we're talking about music business with Jeff Blute, who has made music for several years and has a lot of knowledge on the world of music business and marketing. We'll discuss everything there is to know about music business and how to succeed. Thanks for joining us, Jeff Blute.
No problem, man. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so let's get started with the first question. Introduce yourself and how you started in this journey of making music and marketing.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Jeff Blute. I'm a music entrepreneur, producer, songwriter. It started a long time ago, you're talking probably 2005, 2006. I've kind of always been musically inclined since I was little, playing and drumming on things, having like toy guitars around and stuff. But I think it really took off in 2005 when I got my first like electric guitar. Because that's when I really just started like actually trying to learn songs and playing in bands and things like that.
Sounds good. Like when you first started, did you ever have what gave you the motivation to keep going with this music, this career?
Passion, really. It's always something I've loved, and I've always had a dream for. It's kind of changed over the years. When I started out, just playing in bands, it was so much fun to get on stage and even just jam with my friends and do all the things that I used to see the rock stars doing and people in other bands doing on stage and stuff. So it was really just fun. But I guess over the years, just for how much I love it and how much passion I have towards it, has been the one thing that keeps you going through the ups and downs.
Yeah. If you had another career that you loved equally as much, would you give music up, or would you just go for the next career?
No, I wouldn't give music up. No, to be honest, I do work. I've had a day job all the time. Like I've worked many different jobs, from construction to retail to I actually work social media now for a tech company, and it's a cool position. I get to work remote, get pretty custom hours. So I kind of have a day job, but it doesn't feel like a day job. And even though it's a great place to be, it's a corporate job, there's tons of benefits. I'm always working on my music, and I'm always working on stuff that, I see myself being music full-time, multiple businesses, or all my businesses would be thriving by then and not needing that. But so no, I don't think I'd ever really give up to my music. I was just saying to someone the other day, I was like, I'll be repping Blute Productions till the grave. It'll be on my gravestone, I'm sure.
So you have a producer community called Blute Productions. Can you give us a little more insight about that?
Yeah, so Blute Productions started in 2016. Really is just a production store. When I started making beats, and I started working with rappers, and I wanted to sell beats online. Blute Productions was like my secondary name, so it started as Jeffy Beats because I'm Jeff Blute, and eventually decided to change it up, be a little bit more professional with it. So we went Blute Productions, and yeah, I've been running that since 2016 now. So it's just an online store where artists can come and license beats. I also have sound kits, merchandise, even a lot of marketing materials, blogs, things like that. So it's really just like I want it to be a one-stop shop for artists to come to. I also do graphic design, mixing and mastering, marketing. So it's really just I want artists to have one resource that they can go to where they can find everything that they need, rather than having multiple things. So that's really what that's about. And with that, there's exclusive Discord and other things that I have to really build the community up, and it's been great so far. So
yeah, I actually think that's very important for artists these days, like to have some more knowledge on marketing, like graphic design, all of these tools to have in one place. I think it should be very important for producers to help artists get to their goal, not just providing with the beats,
Exactly. That's really where I've kind of changed my my mindset and my approach with everything is it used to just be about beats. I would send beats, I'd send loops, I'd be uploading beats, I'd be doing the YouTube thing. And it's cool. I mean, I've really just kind of faded away from the whole YouTube thing. I mean, not that YouTube isn't great. Like I'm working on YouTube content, but stuff that's more valuable than just a beat that's attached to some graphic and says like Gunna type beat or something like that, the market is, I mean, it is very saturated with beats, not that you can't sell, but everybody's just been copying each other for the last few months or last few years, really, that it's hard to really see anyone that stands out. So that's why I started shifting, where helping artists with things like graphic design, a lot of marketing, because I think that's the biggest thing. You can find beats for days, but not a lot of artists can market themselves correctly. And that's more important than having 100 beats on your hard drive.
Yeah. Going along with that, like you said, it's very hard for to set, like there's a lot of beats online right now. There's tons of beats. How would a producer go about selling their first beat? What advice do you have for them?
My advice would be to go and build connections. So you can upload beats on YouTube all day long and hope that somebody comes and looks at it. But unless you're actively running like YouTube ads or finding some way to drive the traffic to your YouTube channel, nobody's just going to find it. Unless your video is already doing really well, it's not going to rank high, and it's going to be a struggle, and you might quit before you realize that you have the potential to even do it. So really what I would say is make sure your sound is good, work on a ton of beats, and make sure you got at least a solid like 10, 20, 50 beats or something. And just go on Instagram and just DM people, just shoot them DMs, find artists you like, not that you want to sell. It's not about the money. Find artists you like and you would actually want to work with. Like if you like Juice WRLD, go find an artist that maybe sounds like Juice WRLD, or, Kanye or Ye or Eminem, depending on what style, because there's, boom bap and trap and all these. Find artists that fit your style of beats and just hit them up and just say, hey man, I love your work. I'd love to work together. And then just chop it up. And then if it works out and they need some beats, send them on over and, just let them know like, hey, I'll send you some beats for free. Maybe tag them up just so, there's something so that they maybe don't want to use it. If it's, if it's tagged, they want to buy the lease so that they get the untagged version. But try to build with the artist. Like everybody's trying to get a placement with Drake. Like build with an artist, like help them if you know how to graphic design, help them with their mixing if you know how. You could charge them $10 for a mix if you want. It's just so you're getting a little something out of it, but you're not just draining them for every cent that they have, but they still feel like they're getting value. So that's kind of the way that I would approach it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think networking is such a crucial part of any business, because after all, if you're a music producer, you are technically a businessman. You are selling beats, you are in the world of business, and networking is definitely important because you need to know people. So I definitely think that should be more known in the producer community to get that.
Absolutely. I always say, your network is your net worth. So the people that is, if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you're going to become the 6th, is that old saying. And I live by that. I try to surround myself with people who are above me. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be the dumbest person in the room so I can learn from everybody who's smarter than me. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need a different room, unless it's like you're teaching people. You know what I mean? Unless you're there to present or whatever. But even then, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And I don't really, it's never good to compare yourselves with other people. That's another thing. Producers, it's so easy. And even if you're an artist, it's easy to compare yourself to another producer or another artist that's killing it on social media or killing it on YouTube or killing it on the online industry game, whatever. But everybody, you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 12 or 36. Yeah,
I also live by exactly what you said. Those are very wise words. I do agree. Like your network is totally your network is definitely your net worth. I also I listened to exactly what you said like months ago. You told me the same thing, and I try to get to that position, get to know people who are above me. I definitely think those are really good words. Another question along with that is, who are the most influential people in your journey? Who are or who were?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, because that's a good way to put it, because it does change. I will say the one that has been since the beginning of my musical journey has definitely been my dad. I have to give a shout out to him because he's the one who bought me my first guitar. He's bought me other guitars. He's supported my band, bought tickets, bought merch, supporter, he called me the other day. He's like, hey, someone wants to, do music and work with you. Like, how do I get them to contact you? And I'm like, all right, send them to this, blah, 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 blah. Like, he's always been supportive of me, even when I was out of high school. I actually went to college for criminal justice, and because everybody was filling those, your head with, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to get a job. You're not going to be successful, blah, 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 blah. Because I originally wanted to be a graphic designer, and everybody told me it was a mistake. So I was like, I'll go be a cop. I mean, that's, there's going to be jobs there. Right. And my dad was like, what are you doing? Just go to school for music. So, he was always been the one that's kind of been in my corner. So I definitely got to give a shout out to him. And lately it's really been my girlfriend and my daughter are my biggest inspirations. They're the reason that I grind day in and day out to support them. So really those three right there. It all comes down to family. And obviously my team, everybody that I work with is a huge inspiration to me, because everyone around me is constantly keeping each other motivated, because there's days you're going to not feel motivated. And that's okay. So having people around you that you can really bounce ideas off of or emotions off of helps a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Having someone just supporting you at all times, no matter how good you're doing, how bad you're doing. I definitely agree. I have a couple people like that in my life that support me. My brother, he definitely supports me. My mom, they all support me. I think it's just such a good thing to have in your life when someone's always supporting you,
That's awesome that your parents support you, and even your family, because that can be the toughest part for anybody. When your family doesn't support you, it can be really tough to block out that noise and avoid what they say, because this is your family. These are people you love. You want to take what they say to heart, and know that they care, but sometimes what's best for you, and others just don't. And even if it is your mom or your dad, but if they do support you, that's awesome. But if it's not, doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Some people just, they don't understand, especially parents. They come from a different generation. They don't get that you can make money on Instagram or, your own website in minutes and stuff like that. Like, the ways I make money now, you did not make money that way 10, 20 years ago. It just didn't exist. And it'll be different 10, 20 years ago from now. We might not even trade dollars. We'll probably be trading crypto or, some digital currency of the dollar. Like, it's all going to change. So, it's tough for sure. But yeah, it's good when you have those people.
Definitely. Speaking of people to support you, what about the times you failed? Like, what are some big failures you had, but not that they were so bad, but they just taught you a lot?
I mean, I've definitely trying to think of some big failures. I don't want to say I've never failed. I guess it's just especially as playing in a band like that, sometimes it's a gamble. You're buying merch, you're touring across the world, the van breaks down. I've been stranded in cities that I don't know because we didn't check the van before we left, that the steering wheel was going to snap off the column when we got to South Carolina. I guess I've definitely learned things that pertain to the road. Just always be prepared. Always just keep a level head. Things I've learned, I guess it's tough to say. It's really tough to pin one out, honestly. There's just been so many of them. But as long as you can learn from those failures, that's really the biggest part, and once something's done, it can't be undone, and there's no place but forward that you can go, or up, however you want to look at it. So if you fail, at least you can only go up from there. So it's really all I can say from that. Just try to take everything as a learning experience. you're going to spend and waste a lot of money. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with everything you said. I've been doing this long enough for having a couple failures, but not as long enough to really learn from all my mistakes. Even now, I'm probably making mistakes. Even when you get to that next goal or achievement, you're still going to be making mistakes. I think that's very important for people to know. Even Jeff Bezos was making mistakes, probably. All of these people.
He probably still makes mistakes. You know what I mean? We're all human. I forget. Sometimes I forget to call people back. I forget to send emails. I forget to do something. You know what I mean? We're all, you're going to forget to do things. You're going to drop the ball here and there. You're going to be like, whoops, my bad. It's just keep it moving forward. What would you say are some things that you failed at, I guess, starting out?
I definitely failed at, I failed at a lot of stuff. What you said, it was trying that YouTube route that it didn't work. I was grinding a lot, and I never noticed until I started Beat Mojo how important marketing actually is. Marketing is not just YouTube, posting your beats on YouTube and Instagram. It's way more than that. And another failure is different business decisions I've made. And I haven't studied enough for leadership. I have a lot of failures already, but not such a big deal.
If you can be aware of it, that's huge. I think anybody should, if you don't already debrief your week, you should every Sunday just look back on your last week. What went good, what didn't go good, and just be okay with the fact that it didn't go okay, and be like, well, we'll try again next week, or well, maybe that idea wasn't worth following, because I know what it's like to come up with a million business ideas. I'm always like, I want to vlog, I want to do podcasts, I want to do this, that, the other thing, and some of those ideas are going to fizzle out, some of them are going to fade away, and you just got to be okay with that. Like, you know what, it's it's okay that happened. If other areas are succeeding and some are failing, at least you tried it. Sometimes you kind of have to get it out. I think entrepreneurs, myself especially, I just have so many things in my head that I'm always coming up with ideas. Like, I've probably made 70 business ideas, and then made accounts for them and thought about doing this, that, the other thing, and it doesn't go that way, or I switch it to a different direction, and you end up just walking away from it or something like that. But there's some things you continue to do, like Blute Productions I've been doing for 4, 5, 6 years now. So 6 years later, I'm still grinding Blute Productions. I haven't turned my back up on that yet. But I've started many t-shirt companies. I've started many e-com stores, tons of stuff, drop shipping that, and I've spent money that just didn't pan out. You make investments and you don't make that money back, or you buy a course and it sucks, and you're like, well, I'm out of that money. So, it's gonna happen either way, the mistakes. And that's part of it. And you said, the marketing is I think is a mistake a lot of artists are going to run into.
Yeah, for sure. With artists, if you were an artist, what was one thing you for when you started Blute Productions, started producing, or start your production company, or anything related to business in music? What's something you wish you had when you started out?
That I wish I had? I wish I had more mentors, more people to kind of guide me that I do now. I have a lot of mentors that I can lean on to and get guidance from and get feedback from. So I think having a mentor early on is super helpful. I think we'd all think that more money would be helpful, but it's like we just said, you can blow money in the wrong places. So having a mentor, even if it's somebody that you don't necessarily know personally, like if Gary Vee is a great mentor to you, hell yeah, then go absorb a ton of Gary Vee content and learn everything that he has to say, and find ways to adapt it into your own values and stuff like that. Or if it's Grant Cardone, I really like Alex Hormozy's stuff right now. I think if you're in the business sales world and you just want straight to the sauce, no bullshit, Alex Hormozy's content's the best. But then I have other people, that I do weekly calls with, that I get mentored by on a daily basis. So that is super helpful. So if you can find that, that's something that would definitely help you early on and hopefully avoid some of those mistakes, or at least steer clear and cause less damage.
Sure. I actually been watching a lot of Alex Hormozi too. I've been like completely grinding his stuff like the past.
Yeah, I'm reading his book right now. It's really good. The $100 million offer. The concept that the biggest takeaway from that book is it's basically like make an offer so good that people feel stupid saying no. Yeah. And I think that is such a like genius concept right there. And his stuff like really does make you think about it in a entirely different way. I was just watching his video about getting from like 0 to 1 million followers and just talking about the consistency aspect of it. And I think that was like, even myself needed to hear that, because consistency is the hardest thing to do. Because I think as entrepreneurs, we're constantly thinking of like, what's the new thing? What's the next thing? What's that? When it's like doing the simplest thing day in and day out over and over and over again is actually the thing that's going to scale you. Like, every time I talk to a producer that says they're not selling beats, I just ask them, how many artists are you DMing a day? You know what I mean? Because if you're sending 50 DMs a day, 7 days a week, that's 350 people. 4 times, if you're talking 4 weeks in a month, that's about 1,400 people. And even if only 2% of those people actually respond, that's 168 people you'll have in about 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a numbers game. So, if you can just do something as simple as DMing people and networking, then, and stay consistent with it. I know it sounds like a lot. It can be tough. 50 DMs every day. It can feel like a lot. I even have days where I fall off of doing that, but it's that one task can, I guarantee, change a ton of producers in income for their beats.
I definitely agree with that. It's it definitely is just a numbers game. Exactly what you said. I agree with everything you said in that sentence. Everything you just said. That's some real like gold right there. People definitely need to take advice from you. They need to go out, DM a bunch of people. Whoever responds, there you go. That's how you get it. Just stay consistent. Another thing I had a question on, how do you go about finding a mentor? Do you expand your network a lot, or do you go on like websites and type in like how to find them, or go on a website?
I would say by expanding your network and just like, meeting people and following people on the internet, or on Instagram especially, like you can find tons of people that are just out here crushing it. And like, maybe you just start interacting with their content. And with what I do and everything, like my team and I, like I've met a lot of people above me that are killing it online, and I'm able to be a part of like their weekly calls and stuff like that. But I would just try to find people online that you look up to, that you like their content, you like their values and everything that they're about, and see if there's any way maybe they do mentorship calls, maybe they don't. Maybe just watching their content's enough. Like I said, even if it's just Gary Vee, watching his content all the time, that can really help just change your mindset. And like reading books too is a big one, because like having a mentor, really what it's all about is just somebody to kind of help not only guide you, but like change your mindset and put the right things into your head. So listening to audiobooks all the time can be a huge shift for that. And like I said, like if you listen to Alex Hormozi's book, like that's like having Alex as a freaking mentor right there. So yeah, there's kind of different ways you can go approach it. But if you really want somebody to look up to, just reach out to them. You might have to pay a pretty penny for it, especially if it's someone who's really crushing it online. If they're blue checked or million followers, like they're probably going to at least cost $5,000 or something to learn from them. But that money can be a good investment. I think investing in yourself can never go wrong, especially on a knowledge base. Actually, here's a great recommendation I would say is Tony Robbins. If anybody's looking for like serious like mentorship, like Tony Robbins, he does like online calls, like he does like a big group virtual call, but his courses are phenomenal, and well worth the $250 that they cost. And he does everything from life to business to real estate to sales, really anything that you're looking for. That dude's like a straight philanthropist. So, and he's been around since, I don't know, the dude's been crushing it since like the 80s. So Tony Robbins stuff, I recommend that to anybody. Well worth the money.
Yeah, I agree with the investing in yourself. If I had more money, I would definitely invest in as many like entrepreneur or mentorship calls as I can. Just find out as much information as I can, especially if you're a producer. Like if you're a producer, there's so many tips you can learn. You can learn a lot from YouTube, but you can learn a lot more from people you just know, mentors or other producers. So yeah, just your network is so important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do coaching calls too. Not to like, I'm not here to sell anybody anything, but it is something that I do, one-on-one coaching calls. It's really like if you're trying to come up with a marketing plan for the next 6 to 12 months and you need somebody to kind of help steer you in the right direction, that's kind of where I come in, and I'll, sit down and create some sort of game plan for you guys. And really from there, it's just a matter of you guys executing from there. I also do like song reviews and consultations and stuff like that, as well as a ton of variety stuff. But like I said, I'm not here to plug all that. But if anyone's listening and is looking for a mentor, I'm always happy to extend my knowledge to you guys, and hopefully you guys take away from this call too.
Sure. I was actually looking at your Instagram, and you said 15-minute consultation. I'm like, oh, yeah. If you guys are watching right now, after this, go book a consultation call with Jeff. He'll just give you so much good advice. Swear to God.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, free 15-minute consultations as well. So those are a lot of value. And then if you want something more in depth, I have other coaching calls for that. So yeah, always down.
All right. Another question I have is, what information on music business should music producers and artists alike should know for the future?
I think a big one is learning royalties and how the royalty system works, because it can be extremely confusing between, master recording royalties, publishing royalties, sync royalties. Like, one song, every time it's streamed, there's like at least 4 different royalties that it generates depending on what platforms it's generating on. So really understanding that, and then making sure that you're registered in the right places, whether it's ASCAP, BMI, Song Trust. BeatStars has some great stuff with Sony. I'm actually a BeatStars and Sony music publishing member. So that's great for producers too. If you guys are looking for like, placement opportunities, Sony and BeatStars are always emailing me about placement opportunities because, I'm a member with them. And it's actually, if you're a BeatStars Pro member, it's actually free to sign up as a Sony BeatStars music publishing member, which is super dope. And really what it is, it's publishing administration, which if you guys don't know what that is, it basically means they collect your royalties on your behalf. And they take like 15% off the top before they pay it out to you. But with the way they send you sync, placement opportunities and stuff, it's well worth the 15%. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's 20%. Song Trust is 15%. Sony is 20%, but that extra 5%, I don't care, because they're going to send me placement opportunities for, I've sent beats to people like Don Toliver, NF, NBA Youngboy. I haven't got any placements yet, but just having those opportunities to be able to send artists like that beats is huge. So I would say definitely learning about royalties and how that is, because the more you know the business side, the easier it's going to be to get a placement, or not easier to get a placement, but when you get that contract, you're going to get screwed over less if you know what they're talking about and what you're getting paid out and stuff like that.
I actually did not know that, to be honest. I had no idea Sony did that. That's actually some really good advice.
Yep, it's really cool. So it's through BeatStars. If you guys aren't a BeatStars Pro member, there is a link in my bio where you guys can get like 30% off a BeatStars Pro membership. So just go to the Blute Productions Instagram and click the link in the bio, and you'll find that there. So that'll give you guys a deal, and then you'll be able to sign up with Sony. And that way they're collecting your royalties globally. Every time you register your songs, you're going to get placement opportunities and access to other stuff. Like they're always doing like webinar calls with artists and stuff like that. So it's a great community to be a part of. If you guys aren't selling on BeatStars, definitely recommend it.
What investments do you think all music producers, besides investing in yourself, what should producers have?
Ooh, okay. You want to have like a good. Sorry, there's like a car alarm like was beeping. It's gone now. So as far as that, I would say make sure that you have like a good sound library. So if you're not investing in like a good sound kits, make sure you got good sounds. Whether you use Splice is dope. $10 a month, you get tons of loops and samples and drum kits and stuff like that. So that you're making quality beats. And then maybe like it kind of goes in the investing in yourself, but learn how to mix and master properly. It's going to help your own beats, but it's also going to allow you to offer it to artists as well, which could provide more value and even be a little extra upsell and bread for you. So just having good sounds, having a good DAW, make sure you're paying for your DAW. Don't be stupid and crack an FL Studio. Like I've been caught by Adobe cracking software. Like you guys don't want to go that route. Trust me. That's so like 2012. Like if anybody's still like trying to get free software out here, like there's dope free softwares, Reaper and I think the LMMS. There's tons of stuff. BandLab, I think, is like another one that a lot of people are using. A lot of people have been putting me on to BandLab lately because I guess you can actually like put in stems and then you can send it to somebody and they can add stuff and collaborate with it. So super cool tool if you want to collaborate people as BandLab, but just have, make sure you're making dope beats. There's too many beats out there to like not have your beats up to par. Like you can get if you don't know how to make dope sounding drums, go get a drum loop. And then maybe you're really good at making melodies. So, get the drum loop, make your melodies and just make it sound fucking awesome. That's going to be another way, that's going to be another thing for getting beat sales is having good sounding beats.
Yeah, for sure. As well as having a good sound library. At Mojo, we release packs every week. They're incredibly well made. Our team makes sure we get the best sound possible. We take out anything that is not sounding good. So if you want anything, everything is very cheap. So go to beatmojo.org. Make sure you get something. All right. And what you said with the BandLab, do you think it's innovation, BandLab? Because you can just have that on your phone. I see many artists just recording music on there.
Yeah. Like as far as I know, there's like auto-tune effects and things. So like it's a great way for artists to get, maybe people want to be an artist and they want to get started, but they don't have $150-$200 to get started with buying an interface and a mic. So they can use like, maybe a USB mic or even their AirPods and just like play around with BandLab and see if it's something they even want to do. Like I met this girl the other day that uses BandLab to write all of her stuff and like some other app. And like, she is super dope, but she doesn't know anything. She just knows how to sing, but she's trying to figure out how to record and how to, produce her own music and stuff like that. So it was like really cool to see somebody like, yo, you're killing it with this app and you don't even know what you're doing. So it's cool. It makes the learning curve, they're less of a curve. So, more people can come on to it, which obviously has its pros and cons. Like anybody can be an artist these days. I know like people who are like, in my opinion, not great artists, killing it with 50,000 streams on their song. And I know artists who are fucking amazing who have like 1,000 plays on their song. And it really just comes down to marketing with that. But not to like shift that topic, but it's just amazing. I think technology, the way it's going, there's things to help you write lyrics these days. There's AIs to master your beats. I actually use eMastered. If you guys have ever heard of that, it's a pretty cool tool. I use it for beats specifically because, when I put stuff on YouTube or the beat store these days, you want it to sound good and mastered, but when you send it to an artist, you want it to be, not mastered because they're going to master the final track afterwards. But so eMastered, super dope. It's like $70 a year. I highly recommend it if you guys don't know how to master and want just like a super easy tool. Just throw it in, it spits back a master. I've used it for songs too. It does do a good job and you can tweak things. So it's super cool. So I think the technology these days is amazing. Plugins and virtual sounds and everything has come a long, long way.
For sure. I definitely agree with you there. Just make sure you get the proper mastering and make sure you get all that done. I have another question for you. What marketing tips do you have for artists and producers?
Well, if you're just starting out and you don't have, I would say try to get a marketing budget as best as you can. Even if you're just saving $5 a day, you'll end up with about $150 at the end of the month. And, I think anyone would agree that their music career is worth at least a nice coffee a day. So try to save up a budget if you can. If you don't have any budget though, I would say download TikTok, and I would be focusing on like TikToks, Reels, and YouTube Shorts, and just going crazy with the content there. And just trying to, I think TikTok and YouTube Shorts right now are going to have amazing organic reach. The reason I also recommend Reels is because Instagram has been great with monetization lately. For anyone that doesn't know, Instagram CEO did come out and say that they were going to start focusing on smaller creators instead of bigger creators, or prioritizing the smaller creators. So myself, I unlocked the subscription feature for Instagram. So you can now subscribe to my Instagram page for $5 a month. And I have tons of exclusive stories teaching guys about marketing, make weird ways to make money online that I know about, drop shipping and all types of stuff like that, sales. So it's really cool to be able to, make money from that. I also get paid for Reels bonuses. So these are just some of the ways that you can actually monetize what you do. So definitely recommend Instagram. The organic reach has been changing. It's kind of getting back to its old ways on Instagram, but it's still not like how TikTok is now. But I would just be going crazy with TikTok. And like, if you've got a song, like an artist, just make as many TikToks that you can to that one song, because you got to think about it. Like, it's like the radio nowadays is how people find TikTok is how people find songs. So, think about how radio, when a song is becoming popular, or they want a song to become popular, every station's playing it, and it's constantly being played over and over and over again. At first, you hear the song a ton, you don't really know it. By the 17th time you've heard it, you're singing along with it and you're loving it. And by the 200th time, you're like, okay, I'm over the song. But that's just the process people get through. So like, you see artists now, like Charlie Puth, he's promoting a song on TikTok for 6 months before the song even drops. And the song will be huge and have, like, the video or the pre-snips will have millions of views, and the song's not even on Instagram or Spotify yet. And so by the time that he actually releases it, everybody's like, I'm ready for it. Smaller artists might not be able to extend something as long as 6 months like a Charlie Puth can, where his fans are way more dedicated. But, you can drill people with the same song over and over, like, for a whole month or more, and trying to get people's attention with that song and that hook or that chorus, and just switch up the videos that you do with it. So those would be, social media is probably the biggest one, is, just try to make as much content as you can. And then try to save up some money so you can run ads or invest in a marketing team. I do a lot of marketing for artists. So if anyone needs help in that realm, I have a lot of services that can definitely benefit for that.
What would you say for organic marketing versus advertising? Which one is more preferable if you're a producer or a rapper?
You're always going to get better results with paid. Organic, and honestly, sometimes the paid method is how you even get to the organic method. And what I mean by that is, like, think about like Instagram. Like, if you're paying and running ads, you're pushing your content to the front of like the explore page and the hashtags and stuff. And that's what a lot of we do, is we help push people's accounts so that they can hit those high ranking places, so that people naturally come across it more. And then the organic traffic starts, you know what I mean? Like, think about like Coca-Cola. They spend billions of dollars on advertising so that when you walk into a store, you organically go over and grab the Coke, because that brand is valuable. Like, nobody told you to buy the Coke. You organically grabbed it because that Coke is a dope brand and that you like it, and that it's something you can trust, especially if there's other drinks that you don't know or don't like. So the paid advertising is what leads to the organic, in my opinion.
How would you go about making a brand when you're doing organic marketing or paid marketing? How would you create a personal brand for an artist or a producer?
how would I create a personal brand? I mean, everybody has a look to them. Everybody has a sound. So building the personal brand is just being yourself and then just documenting that process of whatever it is you do, whether it's you're recording in the booth, you're making beats, maybe you're flipping things at a garage sale, maybe you're drop shipping things, like whatever it is that you're doing, just document it and just show people who you are, and just let your name be the brand. And as you build more content and bring more value to the space, the brand grows and the trust grows, and maybe you start to align with the logo or just your face in general, is part of that brand. So I've seen people, their logo is like one of those silhouettes of their face where it's like you don't actually see the face, but it's that person. Those are cool. So yeah, just start making content, turn the camera on, hit record. It's not always easy. I know a lot of people, even myself, I've played on some of the biggest stages and I've been in front of tons of cameras, but it wasn't always easy. Like the first time I got on stage, it was like my leg was shaking so badly that I thought everybody could tell, and that my guitar was going to fall off my lap. So sometimes like it can be tough, but if you can just prop the phone up in the corner of the room and hit record, and just do what it is you do, you have content. You can be the content, not necessarily create the content. So this is actually, you probably can't see this if you guys are listening to this, but I have one of these Bluetooth remotes for your phone, and what it does is you just click it and it'll it basically controls your record and stop button. So I've talked to artists that they have a hard time with the camera filming themselves, but if somebody else is filming them, they don't feel as uncomfortable. So a couple artists I've talked to, they really like just putting their phone in the corner of the room, having the button with them, and then they just hit record whenever they feel like it, and they do their thing, with whether it's their recording or their writing or in the studio, and they don't think of it so much as I'm recording myself and trying to make content, and then they chop it up into whatever type of video that they want. So just document, just document the process.
So you would say be the content instead of creating content?
Yeah. Like a lot of times, like this call, for instance, I have my phone is propped up on a stand in the corner here, and it's been recording, and that's probably going to turn into a ton of content later. Just naturally, me talking to you and having this conversation is going to turn into content. And sometimes I might just be sitting here working on stuff, and it turns into like a time lapse later on, and I throw some trendy audio over it, and boom, you have content. You know what I mean? Or like, I'll have, if you can have even somebody come to the studio with you, give them your iPhone, or if they have a dope iPhone, have them take it out and just like record you doing your thing without you even noticing. Just be like, yo, just record me at random. If you feel awkward, you don't want to know, just have them do it whatever, or have them get a gimbal. iPhone gimbals are pretty dope these days. They're like $100 or less. And they can make everything look super dope. And I'll do that. I actually have a video I was just finishing editing that it's just me in the studio making beats, and it looks wicked sick. And it's like, I was also taking phone calls, doing marketing things. So he catches me doing that. And if you can, that's super dope. If you can get somebody to come with you to the studio, that's going to be the best organic like content that you can make, because you're just being yourself. But if not, get some sort of stand, turn in the corner and hit play and just do whatever.
All right. That's actually very good content. I'm going to use that piece of advice actually for some, tell some of my friends that's a really good one. All right, so one more question before we go. What kind of beats do you think producers should be making right now?
The beats you like.
Beats you like?
Beats you like. Whatever you whatever you like, just fucking make it. You know what I mean? There's people that will say like, I mean, I guess it depends on what your objective is. If you're trying to be an industry producer and you want to have Billboard hits, then you may want to make stuff that's a little bit more trendy, or maybe even try to make a sound that's going to be the future in a few years. But really, at the end of the day, just make what you like. Because I know people who make boom bap, which boom bap seems like such a 90s thing and an old school thing. But there are guys that are killing it with lo-fi beats on Spotify that aren't maybe hitting producing for Drake or something like that. So make what you like. I know guys that they make tons of drill beats because they like drill beats and they're from the UK or whatever. And I like trap beats. I love trap drums, but I also like boom bap. Sometimes I make rock, sometimes I make EDM. I got an EDM song that I'm working on right now. should be finished shortly. So just be creative and make what you like. If you want to follow trends, you can, as long as you like it. If you're forcing it and you're not enjoying it, you're just going to burn out. You might quit, may get frustrated. So it's better to enjoy it and find a way to monetize what you enjoy. I think that'll make everybody happy for sure.
Wow, that's another great advice. This whole interview, I've learned so much. I'm telling you, bro. I've learned so much. I'm
glad to hear that. I hope anyone listening to this also takes value. Honestly, sometimes I just feel like I ramble, and if anyone can take some sort of value out of like 2 seconds of what I said, I'm happy to hear it. That's what I'm about.
It's great. All right, so that's gonna be the end of the podcast. Follow Blute Productions. What's your Instagram?
So at Blute Productions or at Jeff Blute, you guys can find me on both of those accounts, or you can go to blueproductions.net and you can find everything there.
All right, that's was a great meeting. We're gonna have a new podcast episode every 2 weeks, I believe. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, follow Blute Productions and also follow us on Instagram at Real Beat Mojo. And have a nice day.
Later.